using its own strength in its branches and in its trunk so that it can stand on its own. At times, we have been challenged in different ways. And at St. Ben's, we find support from the Benedict community, from our faculty and staff, and also from our friends. We do continue to need support now at graduation. But as we grow and develop more support within ourselves, we become strong and we can stand on our own. At St. Ben's, we have been given the chance to develop the gifts that we have been given to give life to others. At the same time, we've become aware of the injustices of poverty and inequality in the world. One thread that connects the greetings is that of being called and being sent. Being sent includes a spirit of action. Isaiah said to us, "Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, be a voice for the voiceless." Our most important call at graduation is to not be silent about injustices, but also to affirm the good in the world. It will not be easy. Jesus said to the disciples and to us, "You may suffer in the world, but take courage." God promises the Holy Spirit to be our guide. The increased concern for the environment is apparent. As I mentioned before, there are many trees that are being destroyed. I have decided to plant this tree as a sign of my concern for the environment. As graduating women of the College of St. Benedict, I set a challenge before you: to plant a tree, or to plant a tree within yourself, nourishing it so that it becomes sturdy and bears fruit. May all of our futures be a time to become more rooted in God, and that we may become life-giving, full of justice.
For us, graduating seniors at St. Benedict and St. John's, may we realize we are chosen to live on in God's love and to go forth and bear fruit. We pray. For the faculty and the staff of the College of St. Benedict and St. John's University, may they be blessed for their patient support and the challenges they have presented to us. We pray. For the members of the St. John's and St. Benedict monastic communities, who have been our teachers, neighbors, and friends, revealing to us the Benedictine tradition, we pray. For our parents, families, and friends, who are the most powerful people in our lives, with their encouragement and love for us, we pray. For those who are uncertain about their future plans, may they be filled with courage and confidence as they seek to attain their potential. We pray. For the powerless, the poor, and the oppressed, may they be freed from their suffering through experiencing the glad tidings resulting from our words and actions. We pray. For our own special prayers. We pray.
It is my privilege this afternoon to convene the 75th annual commencement exercises at the College of St. Benedict. The faculty and staff join the Board of Trustees in extending a very special welcome to you, the parents and friends of our honored graduates, and especially to you, the women of the class of 1991. In addition to our distinguished speaker, whom Dr. Villette will introduce to you in a moment, I would like to present to you a few very special guests who have joined us for this occasion. I'm going to ask them to stand so that all together, when I have listed the 5 of them, we can all welcome them. Mr. Herman Rattel, Chair of the Board of the College of St. Benedict, who will accompany me in distributing to you your baccalaureate degrees. Sister Mary Reuter, who is prioress of St. Benedict's Convent, the group of Benedictine women who sponsor this institution. Sister Mary Patricia Russell, Superior of St. Martin's Priory, who serves also as the Director of Catholic Continuing Education in the Bahamas. Barbara Tarberg Melson, representing the Alumni Council of the College of St. Benedict, and Dr. Keva Bethel, President of the College of the Bahamas. We welcome all of you. Another reason for very special celebration today is that the College of St. Benedict is about to graduate the youngest woman ever to be graduated from this college, and she's a member of your class. Merce Turnquist from Nassau, Bahamas, plans to pursue a career in medicine. She is just barely 19 years old. Merce, would you stand? I don't see it. Most of us had just begun high school at that time. And now Sister Mary Margaret Yeager will lead us in prayer to begin the commencement exercises.
Come, Holy Spirit, Holy Wisdom. Weave your mystery and profound gifts into the fabric of our journey. Open to us the deeper meanings of this moment, which is both wistful and a time of joy, which honors our past while advancing us on an uncertain path. On this day of endings and beginnings, we applaud the transmission of wisdom from one generation to the next, yet are awed by all that remains unknown. Encourage us always to dwell among those who savor beauty, practice truth, advance community, respond in compassion, are animated by wisdom and empowered by the Spirit. We pray this in the name of the one Spirit, who is truth and life for us all. Amen.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 75th commencement exercises at the College of St. Benedict. Today, we are honoring 404 soon-to-be alumni of our institution. Graduates, this is a special moment for you. May you long remember this occasion with pride, and may you also remember that we too take pride in your accomplishments. Commencement at the College of St. Benedict is an opportunity for meaningful closure to your academic journey with us. It is for this reason that we select the commencement speaker who is connected to our academic endeavors, someone who exemplifies the intellectual, civic, moral, and spiritual values that are at the heart of the education that we offer. We also seek someone who is engaged in living out those values for the benefit of others. I propose to you that our speaker, Dr. Larraine Matusak is such a person. Dr. Matusak is a person whose essence and existence are defined by a long-standing commitment to enabling others to achieve their goals. She has committed over 30 years of service to the education of others, empowering them to become leaders. Following her graduation with a major in biology and chemistry, which I assure you was a rarity in those days, she served as high school teacher and administrator. Within a few years after that, she pursued a master's degree in entomology with minors in zoology and microbiology at the University of Minnesota, where she began her second career in the biology department of the General College of the University of Minnesota, where she later was promoted to associate professor and elected chair of the department. Later, her educational goals led her to pursue a doctorate in higher education from the Fielding Institute in California. And after that, she began her third career as Dean of the College of Alternative Programs at the University of Evansville in Indiana. Eventually, her expertise in alternative forms of education led to her appointment as president of Thomas Edison State College in New Jersey, an institution, a non-traditional institution, which awards credits and degrees based on proficiency examinations and assessment of the individual's life experience. Since 1982, the Kellogg Foundation has benefited from Dr. Matusak's interests, expertise, and commitments. In her current position as director and coordinator, Larraine develops and reviews foundation programming priorities, evaluates and recommends proposals for funding, and administers projects. She also coordinates all grant making in the area of leadership. She directs the Expert in Residence program at the Kellogg House in Battle Creek, Michigan, and she supervises the Kellogg National Fellowship Program. Dr. Matusak has earned a well-deserved reputation in this country and abroad. She holds many other professional appointments with regional and national education associations, and she is the author of numerous publications in the field of non-traditional adult education and leadership. Education and leadership represent the essence of Dr. Matusak's life and her life's work. As I said, she has committed 30 years of service to others, empowering them to reach their goals. And knowing her boundless energy and drive, I think we can count on another 30 years of service. Larraine, we compliment you for your commitments, your service, and accomplishments. May we fulfill our mission as you are fulfilling yours. And may we give you the pride that you have given us. Please help me welcome Dr. Matusak.
Only 30 more? For a start. Sister Coleman, members of the Board of Trustees, parents, family, friends, and last but not least, graduates. I know how difficult it is for you to sit here knowing you have to listen to a commencement address, wanting that diploma in your hands. So I'm going to ask you a favor. Just consider me one of you. I just got a head start on my journey down that road of accomplishing everything St. Ben's has taught you that you ought to accomplish. And I'm back here to share with you some of the things that I firmly believe in. So if you think of me as a friend, as a fellow student, forget that I'm a little older than you are. Maybe you'll hear some of what I have to share in addition to all your excitement, which I'm sharing with you. Frequently, I'm asked the question, What will the leadership role be for women in the 21st century? Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd like to share with you what my dreams are for leadership role of both men and women in the 21st century. The latest research concerning gender issues and leadership, which was recently completed at Harvard, tends to support the leadership trend nationally in this country. And what is that? It's a movement toward a horizontal mode which values all people, women and men, black and white and brown and yellow, within every organization. This model promotes a caring, connected leadership style. Think about those two words, care and connection. They're characteristics that were in the past considered more feminine, but now they appear to be playing a major role for men as well as women in a new leadership style that empowers others and could allow women and men to work together to create ideal communities. Now, what's causing this merger of styles? Rapid change is one of the causes, I think. I'm giving you my opinion as a friend now, don't forget. Rapid change is one of those factors affecting this trend. We find ourselves today in the midst of a macro transition. Change and innovation are occurring at such high speed. The full impact of this change hit me as I unpacked some old boxes a few months ago. If you move around as much as I do, you've always got a stack of boxes that haven't been opened for about 6 years, but you simply can't throw anything away, you know. And as I opened those boxes, I pulled out a beautiful leather case. And in that beautiful leather case was, I bet you don't even know what it is, a slide rule. And I remember a wonderful professor at this institution, whose name I won't mention, but the last name starts with a Z, who said to me, buy the best and most expensive slide rule you can afford because you're going to use it for the rest of your career. Does anybody know a museum who wants a slide rule? And then came the calculator. Now they're out. Now it's the computer. And I'm so excited, waiting to find out what's next. What's after that famous computer? In this kind of fast-moving, changing environment, the successful leader will have to see into the future. We'll have to size up events with only some of the facts. You know, most of us want to act after we get all of our facts. We know everything about it. Then we'll step off the bridge if we know it's only 3 feet down, etc. The new leader is going to have to intuit trends and possess exquisite timing. You can't miss a beat. Have a keen awareness of self. Personal mastery is absolutely essential. And be a broad-thinking, liberally educated, visionary person who just happens to have a specialty, and not vice versa. Not the specialist who panics when you ask them to think more broadly of how their specialty fits into the whole of society. Quite often, the leader of tomorrow will have to think like a scientist, then like a poet, then like a mentor and friend, and yet again like a business person. Creative thought processes are what allow the leader to create a compelling, inspiring vision which transcends rationality. Yes, we need a new breed of leader, both female and male, with the distinguishing human ability to master what I see as a growing leadership paradox: power and compassion. Leadership without no power is no leadership at all. Leadership without compassion leads to abuse of power. The extraordinary leader is skillful at balancing those two polarities. She is able to serve her followers enabling them to transform good intentions into living, breathing realities. This new breed of leader must be a visionary, service-oriented leader, not a top-down, power-hungry, power-first leader. Extensive research has been done to attempt to identify common attributes of persons labeled as leaders. And I too, especially at Kellogg for the last 9 years, have spent a lot of time trying to identify what makes a successful leader. And we've come up with an impressive list, all debatable. And you probably will challenge me on some of them before we all leave here. But since this is a commencement address and not a semester class, and I promise not to keep you here for an hour and a half, there isn't adequate time for me to share all of those attributes with you. But I'd like to turn to the one that I started talking about in the beginning, a 21st century leadership mandate. That mandate is the ability to create a vision with a broad view of the issues, the organization, the community, the nation. Where will this ability be learned? I'd like to ask that of the faculty. Are we growing such visionary leaders in our educational institutions? I'd like to ask you, have you been prepared for the broad vision essential for the year 2000? Have you thought about it at all in all this excitement? I hope so. But more often than not, all of us, parents, friends, we are so involved in the complexity of today's scientific and technological age that what we do is tend to develop narrow specialists. They're experts at their chosen endeavor and responsible leaders of a single-minded cause. The desire to measure success by levels of income has encouraged emerging leaders to concentrate on a part and not the whole, and to focus both their knowledge and their activities terribly narrowly. I acknowledge that if I'm going to have heart surgery, I want a specialist. And I acknowledge that brilliant achievements have been accomplished through specialization. Individuals have made significant, highly specific contributions, but they are unable or unwilling to take responsible leadership beyond the confines of their special area of interest. Because of this, think about it. It's really hard to say who's leading today, but it is safe to say that we have all but lost the sense of a common purpose, both nationally and institutionally. There's a big vacuum of broad, visionary leadership. I could go on forever about broad, visionary leadership. Books are being written about it now, but you've been trained in such an environment. A second great attribute is the ability to communicate that vision, that broad thinking, with meaning and excitement, to make your dreams apparent to others, and to align and empower people with them. Leaders must be able to communicate their vision. The leader's goal is not explanation or clarification, but the creation of meaning. I'd like to give you an example of that, because anyone can speak, and anyone can speak at you, and anyone can learn to articulate. But, as someone said, it was in Doonesbury, and no matter what you say at a commencement, you're going to offend someone. I'm taking a risk. I'm going to compare Carter and Reagan for you. Carter was probably one of the most knowledgeable presidents we have ever had as a leader of our country. But a friend of mine has said, and has written about it, that talking to him was like looking at the wrong side of a tapestry. All the colored strings were there, all the facts were there, but you couldn't get the picture. You couldn't understand how those strands all wove together and what was the story. Reagan, on the other hand, didn't know as much about what was going on. But he knew how to create meaning for the common person. You're all too young to remember, but he was talking about the national debt. And he used as an example the stacking up of $100,000 bills till they were the height of the Empire State Building, and that still wasn't close to our national debt. Oh, that gets the message across. You begin to get the understanding. You know what the meaning is. So to be able to say, I have a dream, I have a vision, and communicate it with meaning so that others are willing to move forward toward your vision is terribly important in the leaders of tomorrow. A third important attribute is the ability and desire to create a trusting environment. Trust is essential to all organizations. It's essential to your family. It's essential to you and your future spouses. It's essential to you and the children. It's essential to you and your friends. When John Paul, the Pope, visited this country, he gave a press conference. And as is wont, I mean, we face this all the time if you're in a public service position, the press went after him. They've got to find something to pin on you. And they said to him, how can you account for the allocation of funds to build a swimming pool in the papal palace? The Pope said, I like to swim. Next question. He didn't say, I have a bad back and the doctor ordered it. He didn't say, the Kellogg Foundation paid for it, so that you begin to doubt. He was honest. So you trust him. Whether you believe in everything he is saying or doing, you trust him and you follow him. Each of you, I hope, will create such environments around you. I feel it when I come to St. Ben's. I feel that trusting environment. I was deeply moved at your baccalaureate mass this morning, and I hope you'll take that with you and continue to foster it and grow with it. Another critical attribute which sends sparks from my crystal ball is passion. You have to have a passion to make a difference. It's passion that causes people to stay up late. You did. And to get up early. It's passion that people want in relationships. Passion gives life power and juice and meaning. There is no greatness without a passion to be great. Whether you aspire to be an athlete or an artist or a scientist or a parent or a college prof, whatever you aspire to be, you must have a passion. I have the bad reputation of going into stores or service areas or restaurants, and if I get this grumpy, miffed waitress, I'm bound to tap her on the shoulder, or him, and say, dear, if you're not happy, go find another job. Let's do what you have to do with passion and joy and energy. Passion's powerful stuff, and it must be used by a leader in a disciplined, focused, and mentally tough way. The real leader of tomorrow, the 21st century, is a thinker who acts with passion. Last but not least, the all-encompassing attribute, the ideal leader, the 21st century leader, is the caring leader, the service-oriented leader, the servant leader, an attribute which is sometimes considered an impossible thing. Allow me to quote from a piece of literature you've all studied, Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. Alice says, there's no use trying. One can't believe impossible things. And the White Queen says, I dare say that's because you haven't had much practice. When I was your age, I always believed impossible things for a half hour a day. Why, sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. I believe that each of you, the leaders of tomorrow's communities, organizations, institutions, and families who are going to make a difference are those who care so deeply about their constituencies that they're willing to listen and dream of impossible things. I never dreamed I wouldn't be using my slide rule. Maybe I should have dreamed impossible things that you can accomplish for people around you. Be eager to empower and inspire others to arrive at that mutual vision. You're broadly educated leaders, and you're going to go on so that you will happen to have a specialty. Leadership calls for acts of courage. You are the emerging leaders of the 21st century. This is a time of opportunity for each of you to be willing to provide the creative leadership required for a healthy and thriving new generation. Do you have the courage to lead? Fellow alums, almost. Do you have the passion, the commitment, the desire to serve? Are you willing to proclaim yourselves a broadly educated, caring leader who may just happen to have a specialty? I'm asking you to reflect and to make a commitment, because I propose you really don't have an option. You don't have a choice as you sit out there to decide, well, I don't want to be a leader. You can't make that decision. Why am I saying that so unilaterally? Because in this United States, this wonderful free country of the world, only 19 to 20% of the total population have 4 years of college or more. You are one of the privileged few. I am one of the privileged few, so we don't have a choice. Sure, there will be cause leaders, and there will be community leaders, but the positional leadership, the people who will get to the positions where there is power and which you must say, plus compassion, will be you. Every single one of you. And you have a great responsibility. The responsibility for the future trends and positive changes in our society rests on your shoulders. And St. Ben's has prepared you to assume that responsibility. Therefore, I would urge each of you to dream at least 6 impossible things daily before breakfast. Dream of serving your communities, your church, your college, your organization, your society, as a broad-thinking, service-oriented, caring, and compassionate leader. Most important, be a service-oriented leader, because servant-oriented leadership is a commitment to the celebration of people and their potential. And I think that was said at the Mass this morning, and I was so pleased to hear it, that we must dream to always celebrate people, all people. Tom Peters, in his book In Search of Excellence, those of you in management have probably read it, devotes a whole chapter, chapter 15, to this service orientation. And he says that the future counts on our having a bone-deep belief in the dignity, the worth, and the creative potential of every person with whom we come in contact. It's precisely that kind of contagious spirit which the service-oriented leader I know is in every one of you will bring to society at large, and you'll never lose. Commitment, courage, caring, service, and broad visionary thinking are the key words for this new breed of leader, you, for the 21st century. You've concluded 4 years of preparation for that role. Therefore, allow me to conclude with the words of one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do, or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Congratulations, fellow alums, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Amy Kramer, will present the senior statement. Amy is a humanities major from White Bear Lake, and she is a recent author of Flash of the Green, a senior project, a play based on 18th century France and revolutions. Amy is also known across the campus for her active leadership on the Student Administrative Board. In fact, she has served, I believe, 4 years on the board and is now completing her term, or has completed her term, as VP for Student Relations. Larraine, you might be interested to know that this young woman was the recipient of a Kellogg Foundation scholarship, which enabled her to attend a seminar on women in public policy in Washington, D.C. this past January. In the next year, Amy plans to pursue a career in the nonprofit sector. Please help me welcome our new playwright.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that. I said, Chuck, leave out the academics, please. Well, I want you all to know when I received this honor, all of my friends said, Amy, you've got to do something unique. You've got to do something different for this commencement address. And I thought, what am I going to do? What can be unique? Everybody's been to 1,000 commencements. So I thought it's time to divulge a little-known family secret that I have. And not many people know this, but my mother's maiden name is Guinness, and she comes from the family of John Guinness of the Guinness Book of World Records. And right now, my Uncle Frank Guinness is running the Guinness Book of World Records, and so I called him and I said, Uncle Frank, what can I do to make this speech unique and different? And he said, well, you know, funny you asked, because in 1976 in Akron, Ohio, they had a pretty big game of musical chairs. And I said, well, how many people? And he said, 600. I said, thanks, Uncle Frank. And I figure, we have about 1,000 people here and in the Claire Lynch. And I don't think it'd be a big deal to get up, move around a little bit. No, I kid. My mom was reaching for her purse there, but well, we may not be setting a world record today, but we sure are setting a lot of personal records as graduates from an institution of higher education. I'm really very honored to speak before all of you today, and I sincerely thank all of my classmates for this election. It's truly something that I've dreamed about, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be up here representing you. We're probably ending right now one of the most powerful experiences of our lives, and also one of the craziest weeks of our lives. From senior dinner last Sunday night to senior disorientation party last night, we've had a week filled with fun, formality, and I have to admit, mixed emotion. It's a great pleasure to be the one who gets to sum it all up. 75 years ago, the women who graduated from the College of St. Benedict followed different paths to success. Well, we, the women of the class of 1991, are following different highways. Society has changed since this college was founded in 1913. We're moving at a much faster pace. We have more places to go, more people to see, more people to meet, and certainly as women, more options to choose from. This is it, friends. After this ceremony, we are on our way. Right now, though, I'd like to ask everybody to stop off the highway for a moment and sit back. Amidst all of the activity and the excitement and the mixed emotion of this week, we haven't had a lot of time to reflect on our experience here at CSB and how we're going to incorporate that experience into our lives of the Society of 1991. First of all, graduates, I ask you to think about someone who has significantly influenced your time here at CSB. Perhaps it's a professor who led you to decide on a major. Or maybe it's Sister Cathell from the dining service who always put on that extra money on the Valentine. It could be Sister Geraldine from Duplicating, who at the last minute copied off all of your event flyers. Or it could be someone like your roommate who listened when you really needed her. It could be your significant other, your mom, your dad, your brother, or your sister. Think about all of the friends you have made here. Think about the people who have come into your life and quickly gone, and the people who have come into your life and who will stay for a long time. All of these people have made a significant influence on who you are. Secondly, I ask you to think about what's been happening in our nation and in our world in the last 4 years. Think about things like the Exxon oil spill, the Panamanian invasion in December of 1989, the collapse of the Berlin Wall and the rebirth of Europe, Mikhail Gorbachev and perestroika, revolutions in Romania, Czechoslovakia, and Poland, and the continuing battle of apartheid in South Africa. I ask you to think about issues of the environment, such as the depleting rainforest, and of course, how can we forget the Persian Gulf War, the first war our generation has experienced, and hopefully the last. Terrorism in our world is at an all-time high, but here in the United States of America, we're experiencing an increased awareness in areas of cultural pluralism, environmental issues, and gender sensitivity. In the fall of 1989, while many of us were studying abroad in France, Ireland, Austria, England, Greece, Turkey, Italy, and Spain, St. Joseph experienced the abduction of Jacob Wetterling, who we still keep in our prayers and keep hope alive for. In 1988, we had a presidential election and the Olympics, and in 1987, the Twins won the World Series. Thirdly, I ask you to think about what's gone on here at CSB and SJU, what we like to call life behind the pine curtain. Do you remember freshman year? That was the year when we didn't have our own Hilton Hotel, or should I say Margreta Hall. Our class was so big, our entering class, that some of us got to stay in the West Apartment basements, and some of us didn't even make it on campus. That was before the renovation of the main building, and think about it. How many times have you gone in the back door of that building because it used to be the front door? Quite a few for me. Another thing I like to think about is our school newspaper, The Independent. When we were freshmen, that newspaper was similar to a 6-page flyer. The other newspaper, well, you know the one from St. John's. That was the campus newspaper. 4 years later, our newspaper has turned into a 20-page, well-read piece of work with contributions from some of our best writers here on campus. Thanks to the dedication of people like Julie Martinka, that newspaper has become a wonderful piece of literature. This past year, we also experienced some sadness with the passing of a friend to many and a classmate to all, Christopher Agnew. Perhaps through Chris's death, we learned that success might simply be making it through the day and living life to its fullest each day. On an academic note, we can't forget the core curriculum. And let's face it, we all breathed a big sigh of relief and became the biggest supporters, especially when we found out it started the year behind us. I like to call the class of 1991 the last class to graduate under WIMP Corps. And finally, think about the different places here on campus. Here at the BAC, where we've watched numerous theatrical productions, seen many speakers who have enlightened us. Claire Lynch, a lot of sporting events, the HAB, Clemens, the main building, and even the fish pond. Now tell me about that fish pond. What happens to those fish in the winter? How do they magically reappear? I haven't figured it out. And didn't someone put a trout in there last weekend? And I thought I heard about some seniors swimming in it last night, but I don't know. All of these people and experiences are preparing us for life, and as we Americans like to say, a successful life. Our society seems to be obsessed with the idea of success, but at the same time, it's very difficult for us to determine what success really is. Amidst the excitement of graduation, there's a lot of insecurity and anxiety within each of us. We know we want to do well, we know we want to succeed, but we're often victimized by this ambiguity in the definition of success. To one of us, success may be a 6-digit salary. To another, it may be embracing the ideals of volunteerism. But I think it's important for all of us to realize that people and experiences we've had during our time at St. Ben's have only helped to shape who we are. And how can one be successful without knowing oneself? If anything, our experiences in this community have helped us to understand who we are. Hopefully, with this knowledge, we will be able to forge ahead, make our own definitions of success, and live up to those definitions. A friend of mine, Tom Laird, had an essay published in one of our writing journals called The Diatima. In it, he wrote that through some of his experiences at St. John's, he discovered the importance of finding his true self, and for the most part, used the opportunity to examine his core. In the silence without, the voices would speak within. For me, this was the greatest lesson college taught me. Success, fame, notoriety, none of it has any significance unless you know who you are and where you've come from. I'm honored to be a graduate of St. Ben's because I feel like I'm coming from an institution full of good people. And I know that sounds trite, but when I talk about good, I think of descriptive words like solid, steady, genuine, and truthful. What makes this institution good are the people who are a part of it. Students, faculty, and staff, everyone works together to keep this college representative of its fine reputation. People here have heart and compassion. People here care. Not all of us know exactly what we want to do after our college careers. Even those of us who have jobs aren't necessarily certain of our career plans. But we can at least leave knowing that this school, the people we've met, the experiences we've had, has given us a greater knowledge of who we are, and that in itself should be noted as a sign of success. I can't tell you what it means to succeed. You are the only one who can determine that. You see, graduates, even though I stand up here to represent you, today is your day, and it's going to be what you make of it. Just like the last 4 years have been your years, and they're a product of the energy and effort you have put into them. All of us have had our own experiences, and each of us has our own, how can I say it, song of St. Ben's. Now it's time for each of us to listen to that song, for it's going to be that song that will lead one of us to a Big Six accounting firm and another to Central America to serve in the Peace Corps. That song will bring one of us to graduate school and another to the home for the elderly in her hometown. Your future is what you make it. Listen to the tune of your song. In closing, I'd like to read a quote that I often turn to in times of confusion or when the tune to my own song becomes a little off key. This is how it goes. Wishing will not bring success, but planning, persistence, and a burning desire will. There is a gold mine within you from which you can extract all the necessary ingredients. Success is an attitude. Get yours and get it right. We have a lot of confusion about what lies in the highway ahead, but we can at least leave here with one certainty. No matter what anybody says or thinks, there will always be one truth that we can rely on. Women of the class of 1991, we are graduates of the College of St. Benedict. We have succeeded. Thank you.
Today's program lists 404 candidates for the baccalaureate degree. The College of St. Benedict is happy to recognize these degree candidates. It is understood that the appropriate degrees are those earned by the candidates who successfully complete all requirements for that degree by the end of the scholastic year. Will the candidates please rise? Sister Coleman O'Connell, President of the College of St. Benedict, these students are now presented to you for conferral of the appropriate degrees.
On the recommendation of the faculty and the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon those candidates whose names appear in the commencement program the appropriate Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees indicated, with all the attendant rights and privileges of which the degrees to be given to them shall be forever a testimony.
May I ask the audience to please withhold applause until all candidates have received their degrees. Please come forward, candidates. Honor candidates for the Bachelor of Arts. Jennifer Lynn Alto, cum laude, elementary education, Virginia. Laura Brian Amsden, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, social work in Spanish, Edina. Michelle Lee Arns, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, government and psychology, Wabasha. Sharon Louise Arnold, summa cum laude, accounting and management, Cold Spring. Susan Mary Bello, magna cum laude, Spanish, Prior Lake. Pamela Jean Carpenter, cum laude, liberal studies, Bloomington. Laura Ann Colombo, cum laude, management and psychology, St. Cloud. Nancy Ruth Conliffe, summa cum laude, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Jennifer Lynn Davidson, cum laude, elementary education, Thief River Falls. Jennifer Lee Decker, magna cum laude, theology, all college honors with distinction in theology, Mayville, Wisconsin. Gia Tishka Delavo, magna cum laude, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Shirley Laureen Ferguson, magna cum laude, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Carla Jean Fleischiker, cum laude, management, Freeport. Christina Michelle Full, magna cum laude, economics and psychology, Lakeville. Linda Sue Haig, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, psychology, all college honors with distinction in psychology, West Bend, Iowa. Susan Margaret Hoban, cum laude, elementary education, Wilmer. Michelle Rose Ilias, summa cum laude, biology, Sauk Center. Lynn Marie Jackson, magna cum laude, French and social science, Richfield. Patricia Mary Joseph, cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, management and psychology, Costa Rica. Janice Sue Kegley, cum laude, elementary education, St. Paul. Sarah Catherine Keller, cum laude, biology, St. Joseph. Judy Marie Kenny, magna cum laude, mathematics, Owatonna. Patricia K. Crea, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, liberal studies, Hastings. Stacy Jean Kiebelbeck, summa cum laude, natural science, St. Joseph. Christine Ann Lambert, cum laude, humanities and Spanish, Savage. Sarah Jennifer Lindy, cum laude, German, Hastings. Virginia Elizabeth Marvin, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, English, Warroad. Laura Ellen McGrain, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, English, all college honors with distinction in English, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Sandra Mary Mergen, summa cum laude, elementary education, Avon. Lisa Marie Needham, cum laude, history and philosophy, all college honors with distinction, Stillwater. Jean Barbara Nelson, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, mathematics, North St. Paul. Sandra Jane Olson, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, mathematics, ESCO. Michelle Marie Parkovich, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, elementary education, Buffalo. Amy Jo Patton, summa cum laude, mathematics and computer science, Sartell. Joanne Marie Pfeiffer, magna cum laude, chemistry, Whippold. Michelle Therese Powell, magna cum laude, accounting, Minnesota Lake. Jody K. Regan, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, music, St. Cloud. Kimberly Jean Rainier, egregia cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, liberal studies, St. Paul. Sally Ann Rude, cum laude, accounting and management, Hibbing. Karen Lynn Schneider, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, English, Millinocket, Maine. Laurie Ann Sellner, magna cum laude, government, Sleepy Eye. Julie K. Storman, cum laude, elementary education, Holdingford. Mary Lynn Werner, magna cum laude, music, Rochester. Jennifer Ann Zachman, magna cum laude, Spanish, all college honors with distinction in Spanish, Melrose. Honor candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree. Sarah Lynn Brenau, magna cum laude, nursing, Albany. Amy Sue Hagen, cum laude, dietetics, St. Cloud. Amy Lynn Kuzniak, cum laude, nursing, Pine City. Susan Carol O'Connor, cum laude, dietetics, Lakefield. Susan Ann Ostendorf, cum laude, nursing, Freeport. Renelle Rickus Simonson, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, nursing, Glenwood. Degree candidates for the Bachelor of Arts. Carrie Ann Abernathy, sociology, Duluth. Anne Marie Ackerman, elementary education, Sauk Rapids. Amy Catherine Ollis, management, Detroit Lakes. Julie Ann Ajax, accounting, Edina. Dana Christine Anderson, psychology and Spanish, Bloomington. Jelaine Marie Anderson, music, Dassel. Sarah Beth Anderson, government, Faribault. Sloan Stephanie Anderson, economics, West St. Paul. Erica Ann Andre, English and German, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Renee Marie Andrews, elementary education, St. Cloud. Faye Lenore Angeloni, history, North Oaks. Kristen M. Anhire, humanities, Appleton, Wisconsin. Carolyn Magno Arcila, liberal studies, Richfield. Kristen Elaine Arndt, psychology, Plymouth. Rose Mayo Young, management, St. Cloud. Brenda Sue Backus, elementary education, St. Joseph, Missouri. Margarita Anne Marie Baden, sociology, Egan. Robin Jean Balder, mathematics, Foley. Michelle Eileen Balistreri, management, Bloomington. Cecile Clarice Bartek, English, Springfield, Nebraska. Karen Elizabeth Bauer, natural science, Forreston. Kristen Karen Baumgart, natural science, Rosemount. Leanne Marie Baumgarten, German and government, Oakdale. Jennifer Marie Baumhover, Spanish, West St. Paul. Joan Marie Beach, liberal studies, Clear Lake, Iowa. Roberta J. Beavers, liberal studies, St. Paul. Karen Ray Becker, psychology, Little Falls. Suzanne Lee Bettendorf, art, St. Cloud. Lara Marissa Bianconi, management, Shoreview. Wendy Susan Vinsfeld, management, Bloomington. Kelly Lynn Burke, German and government, Winona. Bobby Ann Blackwell, art, Kalispell, Montana. Cassandra Renee Bland, English, Denver, Colorado. Tamara Jean Borbroom, English, Walnut Grove. Susan Bichelle Bongards, liberal studies, Edina. Lynette Marie Booth, management, Mankato. Dawn Marie Brady, management, Storm Lake, Iowa. Holly Ann Breitenbach, management, Waterton, South Dakota. Amy Lynn Brockman, Spanish, Sandstone. Tamara Ann Brassard, mathematics and computer science, Albert Lee. Catherine Mary Bratz, art, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Christina F. Brown, English, Boise, Idaho. Christine Nell Busby, English, South Bend, Indiana. Martha Faye Byron, biology, Waseca. Arlene Itzel Calvino, Psychology, Republic of Panama. Julie Catherine Carr, Elementary Education, St. Cloud. Linda Marie Carlson, Liberal Studies, Duluth. Christine Ann Casey, History, Prior Lake. Victoria Marie Casey, Economics, St. Cloud. Kendra K. Castle, Government, Anoka. Suzanne Elizabeth Kahn, Liberal Studies, Alexandria. Marion Elizabeth Clark, Psychology, St. Paul. Elme Lorene Clark, Management and Accounting, Nassau, Bahamas. Karen Michelle Cloud, Art, Lawson, Missouri. Noelle Lee Coburn, Art, St. Cloud. Catherine Mary Coldren, Biology, Lakeville. Catherine Ann Condon, Psychology, Cold Spring. Catherine Dower Conway, English, Great Falls, Virginia. Michelle Lynn Cook, Sociology, Chaska. Sarah Ann Cooney, Liberal Studies, Bloomington. Cassandra K. Corrigan, Psychology, Foley. Sheila Ann Cronin, Management, Bloomington. Colleen Ann Cunningham, Social Work, Ortonville. Dawn Marie Courier, Government, White Bear Lake. Rachel Daly, Art and Art History, Minneapolis. Julie Ann Danielson, Music, Alexandria. Amy Elizabeth DeBoer, Psychology, Lakeville. Janice Marie Delaveau, Management, Nassau, Bahamas. Holly Lynn Dangerou, Biology, Glenwood. Shannon Marie DeRosier, Government, Fergus Falls. Mary Lee Dick, Music, Grand Rapids. Carla Joanne Dolan, Psychology, Cold Spring. Julie Lorraine Dominic, History, St. Cloud. Margaret Rose Donahue, Natural Science, Stewartville. Brooke Michelle Drahazel, Government, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Rachel Marie Drake, Sociology, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Diane Marie Drutchman, Psychology, Lindstrom. Kelly Lee Duffy, Social Work, Coon Rapids. Jennifer Kate Dugan, English, Storm Lake, Iowa. Bridget Marie Jerice Dunn, Psychology, St. Paul. Christine Lynn Ebner, Elementary Education, Shakopee. Kristen Marie Evanachek, English, Cambridge. Felicia Ann Farnhorst, Social Work, St. Cloud. Catherine Ann Farner, Art, Melrose. Jerusalem for Credential, Government, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Elizabeth Ann Feltal, Social Work, Edina. Catherine Lorraine Fess, Biology, Rochester. Barbara Jean Fitzpatrick, Economics, St. Paul. Cheryl K. Fostervall, Liberal Studies, Kandioi. Mary Courtney Front, Elementary Education, Blue Earth. Lisa Marie Fulton, Psychology, St. Joseph. Lisa Renee Gabriel, Management and Psychology, Inver Grove Heights. Melissa Jo Gamble, Accounting, Avon. Lisa Ann Geisler, Management, Bloomington. Tracy Lynn Gels, Sociology, Duluth. Kelly Ann Gertis, Elementary Education, Villard. Joan Elizabeth Giroux, Elementary Education, St. Joseph. Anne Marie Golden, Sociology, Bloomington. Catherine Rose Godfrey, Psychology, St. Cloud. Wendy Ann Goulet, Elementary Education, Benson. Naomi Irene Gribno, Biology and Psychology, all college honors with distinction in psychology, Hastings. Julie Renee Grote, English, Pequot Lakes. Deborah Ann Griswold, Accounting, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Heather Sue Gustafson, Psychology, Stewartville. Sarah Elizabeth Haig, Management, Bloomington. Shannon Marie Hall, Biology, Billings, Montana. Janelle Marie Alverson, Government, North Oaks. Julie Lynn Hanfler, Elementary Education, Brainerd. Laura Jane Hanson, Elementary Education, Farmington. Tracy Ann Hanson, Accounting and Management, Wabasha. Julie K. Hogan, Management, Corcoran. Lisa Marilyn Hogley, Psychology, Shoreview. Michelle Lee Heimkies, Liberal Studies, Burnsville. Marnie Marie Hess, Psychology, Marshall. Ritale Elizabeth Hiron, English, Cold Spring. Tony Michelle Heyer, Chemistry, Dresser, Wisconsin. Mary Elizabeth Hymans, Psychology, Englewood, Colorado. Genevieve Marie Hippold, Management, Aurora. Michelle Ann Hohenstein, Elementary Education, Shakopee. Carrie Lynn Hollenkamp, Management, St. Cloud. Jill Renee Eileen Holm, Management, Big Lake. Cynthia Mary Holmes, History, St. Paul. Mary Jennifer Horner, Social Work, St. Paul. Karen Sophia Hovland, English, Minneapolis. Annette Michelle Ruby, Sociology, Northfield. Heidi Lynn Hubble, Elementary Education, Maynard. Kristen Louise Humberger, Art and Theater, Denver, Colorado. Julie Ann Hutchison, Elementary Education, New Brighton. Stacy Lynn Jensen, Elementary Education, St. Cloud. Rachel Ann Mary Jasper, Theology, Bloomington. Jennifer K. Jenkins, Liberal Studies, Staples. Christine K. Johnson, English, St. Paul. Mary Frances Johnstone, Art and Art History, St. Paul. Natalie Ruth Jones, Government, Ridgeway, Wisconsin. Michelle Lee Jurowicz, Art, Shakopee. Sociology, Fountain Hills, Arizona. Megan Marie Keffler, Accounting, Bingham Lake. Mary Ann Kennefick, Elementary Education, St. Cloud. Sarah Louise King, Liberal Studies, Wausau, Wisconsin. Carrie K. Kimmick, French, Waverly. Mary Christine Knott, Spanish, International Falls. Gretchen Sue Koenig, Psychology, Belle Plaine. Amelia Ruth Cole, Social Work, Egan. Paula Ann Kushel, Theology, New Hope. Shannon Michelle Kozar, Social Work, Excelsior. Amy Jean Kramer, Humanities, Delwood. Tanya Marie Chrome, Liberal Studies, Le Center. Patty Ann Keene, Accounting, New Ulm. Rachel Heather Labatt, Liberal Studies, Cambridge. Natalie Jean Lade, Art and Biology, Mount. Cheryl Rose Lanen, English, Prior Lake. Sarah Marie Larson, Management, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Michelle Marie Lawrence, Elementary Education, South St. Paul. Teresa Carol Liefeld, Sociology, Cannon Falls. Nancy Teresa Lill, Liberal Studies, Shakopee. Mary Christine Lillibridge, Sociology, Northfield. Diane Catherine Linder, Government, Albert Lee. Beth Ann Lichty, Elementary Education, Montevideo. Maria Cecilia Juan Lucas, Elementary Education, Cottage Grove. Christine Marie Lutke, Government and Communications, Columbus, Georgia. Molly Ann Lynch, Art and Art History, Van Nuys Heights. Michelle Lynn Mack, English, Alexandria. Leah Rachel Maga, Psychology, Forest City, Iowa. Cheryl Marie Mahol, Social Work, Farmington. Denise Marie Maleka, Management and Mathematics, Henning. Brenda Lynn Marcy, Elementary Education, International Falls. Julie Jo Martinka, English, Chanhassen. Monica Ann Mossberg, Liberal Studies and Management, Waterville. Jennifer Ann Matlock, Biology, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Julie Lynn Matzek, Biology, Hastings. Melissa Rose Maxwell, Government, Marshall. Carol Ann McCarthy, English, Detroit Lakes. Carmen Ray McConnell, Liberal Studies, St. Cloud. Elizabeth Ann McKay, Sociology, Eden Prairie. Excuse me, sir. Donna Marie McKenzie, Psychology, Northfield. Florence McKinney, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Shelley Ann McLean, Liberal Studies, Anoka. Susan Marie McMurdy, Psychology, Edina. Louise Ann McNamara, English, Olivia. Michelle Therese McRae, Mathematics, Computer Science, Minneapolis. Mary Margaret Melcher, Music, Shakopee. Lucinda Ann Malandandri, Sociology, Lakeville. Kathleen Marie Manigali, Accounting and Management, Burnsville. Karen Mary Mensing, Art, Cannon Falls. Joyce Ann Meyer, Psychology, Pierce. Lorraine Ann Meyer, Liberal Studies, Plymouth. Anita Marie Miller, Music, Sauk Center. Belinda Lee Miller, Biology, Tabor, Iowa. Renee Rachel Miller, Social Science, Crookston. Danielle Mishi, Social Science, St. Cloud. Stacy Ellen Mon, Art and Management, Burnsville. Anne Marie Morley, Management, Forest Lake. Jacinta Maria Moss, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Mary Elizabeth Mulcahy, English, Rockford, Illinois. Kathleen Lucille Murphy, English, Edina. Carol Lee Myers, English, Lewiston, Idaho. Erin Kathleen Naughton, Liberal Studies, Edina. Anne Pauline Navratil, Management, Bloomington. Mary Margaret Nemenich, Elementary Education, Golden Valley. Michelle Ann Nentwick, Liberal Studies, Lenexa, Kansas. Melissa Elizabeth Nett, Management, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Michelle Lee Neeson, Biology, Rockville. Cassandra Jo Nielsen, Liberal Studies, Palmer, Alaska. Tina Marie Ock, Management, St. Joseph. Rebecca Ann Odenthal, Elementary Education, La Center. Gina Maria Ogile, Theater. Lino Lakes. Lisa Jean Olson, Music, Psychology, Swanville. Jennifer Maureen O'Neill, Psychology, Worthington. Gretchen Mary Orth, Psychology, Columbia, Missouri. Kathleen Ann Oslin, Elementary Education, Woodbury. Suzanne Carol Odie, Social Science, Waterloo, Wisconsin. Renee Rolin Paquette, Liberal Studies, Duluth. Teresa M. Parker, Elementary Education, Glencoe. Elizabeth Marie Pearson, Psychology, Mankato. Heidi Marie Pertlachek, Economics, Cohasset. Rebecca Ellen Patrick, Psychology, St. Cloud. Michelle Marie Pettit, Spanish, Elysian. Mary Carol Pexa, Management and Psychology, New Prague. Julie Ann Pyhaley, Psychology, Mendota Heights. Cynthia Mary Pilney, Elementary Education, St. Paul. Cinnamon Irene Pinecki, Natural Science, Denver, Colorado. Michelle Marie Paulmeyer, Mathematics and Physics, Plattsmouth, Nebraska. Jennifer Elaine Pouthen, Management, North Oaks. Dawn Michelle Price, Liberal Studies, Davidsonville, Maryland. Jacqueline Lee Puskarich, Elementary Education, Bakersfield, California. Kelly Ann Quinn, Psychology, Plymouth. Denise Marie Rademacher, Management, Alexandria. Dana Jean Rethlake, Natural Science, Clara City. Christine Ann Reuter, Management and Psychology, Plymouth. Amy Beth Richmond, Management, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Leanne Marie Rickey, Biology, Alexandria. Lisa Louise Rivard, Biology, Red Wing. Laura Jean Rodell, Management, Alexandria. Rochelle Maureen Rollick, English, Owatonna. Pam Althea Russell, Management, Nassau, Bahamas. Elizabeth Mary Sandine, Elementary Education, New Hope. Melissa Lynn Sando, English, Afton. Suzanne Marie Suntwire, Liberal Studies, Detroit Lakes. Mary Beth Sauer, Liberal Studies, Princeton. Roxanne Margaret Sherbring, Psychology and Spanish, Rolling Stone. Nancy Ann Schiffler, Liberal Studies, Albany. Joan Marie Schimmick, Liberal Studies, Easton. Kimberly K. Schlichting, Elementary Education, Sauk Rapids. Marn Elizabeth Schmid, Management, St. Cloud. Christine Marie Schmidt, Liberal Studies, Little Falls. Katrina Stephanie Schmidt, Liberal Studies, Slayton. Christina Patricia Schmidt, English, Crestwood, Kentucky. Amy Louise Schneider, English, Lakewood, Colorado. Lisa Ann Schuler, Management, St. Cloud. Margaret Ann Schuler, Spanish, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Dawn M. Schultz, Biology, Fergus Falls. Anne Marie Siegel, Art and Art History, Duluth. Stephanie Janelle Scaff, Music, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Nicole K. Skirbich, English, Mounds View. Beverly Jean Scropp, Accounting, Rice. Ida Khaled Slahy, Accounting and Management, Stillwater. Christine Mary Smutta, Elementary Education, Winstead. Laurie Lee Sommerfeld, Elementary Education, Jim Falls, Wisconsin. Elizabeth Angela Sorquist, Management, Black Duck. Joyce Helen Spanier, Liberal Studies, Belgrade. Suzanne Michelle Sparks, Liberal Studies, Minnetonka. Carrie Ann Spearing, Psychology, Prior Lake. Kimberly Ann Stassen, Social Science, Faribault. Molly Ann Sternard, Elementary Education, Minnetonka. Angela Cecile Stacco, Liberal Studies, Bloomington. Marinelle Strachan, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Jennifer Ruth Strathman, Art, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Heidi Lynn Struth, Psychology, Alexandria. Molly Maureen Sullivan, Elementary Education, Woodbury. Sally A. Sveck, History, Lowry. Kimberly Marie Sabota, Psychology, Prior Lake. Angela Christine Swanson, English, Stillwater. Brenda Ann Swenson, Music Literature, Moorhead. Karen Mary Sylvester, Elementary Education, East Bethel. Anne Christine Temple, English, Blue Earth. Christina Ann Theobald, Elementary Education, St. Paul. Anne Marie Thoma, Accounting and French, Little Falls. Denise Jeanette Thoma, Elementary Education, Swanville. Sarah Jane Thoreen, History, St. Cloud. Cheryl Ann Tillman, Art, Little Falls. Kelly Jean Tobin, Management, Faribault. Lisa Michelle Todd, Government, Long Lake. Dorianne Francis Tomchek, Management, Waconda, Illinois. Corinda Ann Tope, Psychology and Social Work, Stillwater. Amy Marie Cheetah, Management, Piers. Mercedes Elizabeth Turnquist, Spanish and Natural Science, Nassau, Bahamas. Andrea Maria Uppes, Liberal Studies, Sauk Center. Mary Ann Valley, Liberal Studies, St. Cloud. Vanessa Ann Verton, Psychology, Breckenridge. Mary Lynn Walter, Liberal Studies, Clements. Lori Jean Waltz, elementary education, Wilmer. Mary Elizabeth Warmka, elementary education, Savage. Suzanne Carey Weiss, management, Clear Lake. Madeline Olivia Wells, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Shannon Marie Welsh, liberal studies, Apple Valley. Amy K. Westphal, government, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Stephanie Irene Wilkins, psychology, Swanville. Allison Elizabeth Willett, English, Delavan. Christine Marie Williams, management, Bloomington. Lillian Victoria Williams, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Anissa Marie Wilkham, pastoral ministry, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Barbara Jean Winter, art, Neenah, Wisconsin. Simon Simona Wong, management, North Point, Hong Kong. Jolene Marie Wolf, chemistry, Chicago, Minnesota. Monica Michelle Yavello, psychology, Burnsville. Anne Margaret Young, liberal studies, Hopkins. Martha Marie Young, liberal studies, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Catherine Mary Zelensky, chemistry, Rochester. Wei Zhang, mathematics, Beijing, China. Julie Elizabeth Zern, French, humanities, White Bear Lake. Janet Mary McGarry, business and management, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree. Catherine Ann Allen, nursing, Wade Park. Brenda K. Oslin, dietetics, St. Cloud. Wendy Marie Bechtold, nursing, St. Joseph. Carol Jean Berger, nursing, St. Cloud. Mary Judith Botko, nursing, Maple Grove. Gail Ann Brolowski, nursing, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Sherry Ann Cerny, nursing, Maplewood. Darlene Mary Marie Conley, nursing, Rochester. Teresa Marie Cornelissen, dietetics, Everett, Washington. Colleen Marie Cronin, dietetics and psychology, Arden Hills. Karen Ann Doomer, nursing, Fairfax. Karen Marie Eberhardt, nursing, Brainerd. Lisa Eleanor Fahey, nursing, Fairfax. Agnes Leonela Fundine, nursing, St. Cloud. Jennifer Lynn Hall, dietetics, Northbrook, Illinois. Janet Lynn Hyde, nursing, Wade Park. Kimberly Ann Herman, nursing, Long Lake. Michelle Lee Hickey, nursing, Wade Park. Elizabeth Jane Hodges, nursing, Tyler. Cynthia Marie Johansson, nursing, Hutchinson. Shannon Michelle Kelly, nursing, New London. Karen Lynn Korkowski, nursing, Minnetonka. Julie Carol Kunkel, nursing, Kimball. Jean Marie Kuttner, nursing, Stewart. Judy K. Marketon Kittock, nursing, Howard Lake. Barbara Ellen McGovern, nursing, West St. Paul. Patricia Ann Moss, nursing, St. Cloud. Marla Cecilia Notch, nursing, St. Cloud. Erica Kathleen Esterline, Economics, Woodbury. Jody L. Olin, Nursing, Malacca. Juanita Mary Ostendorf, Nursing, St. Cloud. Regina Marie Randolph, Dietetics, Grand Island, Nebraska. Lisa Ann Reese, Dietetics and Management, Coon Rapids. Lisa Lynn Reiter, Nursing, St. Cloud. Margaret Suzanne Sobiek, Nursing, Sauk Rapids. Marlis Ray Sorensen, Nursing, Wilmer. Maya Angelina Soraya, Dietetics, Billings, Montana. Michelle Lee Todi, Nursing, Isanti. Rebecca Jo Vold, Nursing, Chickayo. Dina Catherine Wersall, Nursing, Mapleton. Wanda Adela Worth, Nursing, St. Cloud. Anna Marie Wansavage, Biology, Minneapolis. Please greet our honored candidates. I would now like to invite Barbara Carlson, Associate Vice President for Institutional Development, to welcome you to the Alumni Association.
On behalf of the Alumni Association of the College of St. Benedict, I congratulate you, the graduates of the class of 1991, and I welcome you as alumni. I want you to know that I wrote these words 5 years ago. I wrote them really in anticipation of this day for my daughter Christine, who was then a sophomore at St. Ben's. But today these words are not for Christine. These words are for each of you. I would like to invite you to think back 4 years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when you began your St. Ben's experience. You left your home to come to St. Ben's, and with you came your clothes, your new typewriter and dictionary, your checkbook, your makeup, your posters, your stuffed animals, your high school yearbook, your stereo, your pictures of family and friends, and 3 12-packs of Diet Coke. You moved it all in, load by load. And then you started to nest. You hung up your clothes in the closet. You arranged your pens and paper and stationery in the desk drawers. You made up your bed with crisp new sheets. Set your graduation gift popcorn popper on the shelf. And you hung your posters on the wall with tacks or nails, but no tape. You are surrounding yourself with the familiar things in your life and arranging your new possessions. A statement about the transitional journey you are beginning. The journey from dependence to autonomy. All of that was tentative at first. You were creating a tentative home. As the first days passed with floor meetings, first classes, buying the new textbooks, settling in with your roommates, meeting your brother Floor, each person's journey was different. Some of you are homesick, and wondered why you had ever left Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Edina, or Little Falls. Some of you rejoiced in your independence with only occasional pangs of missing the familiar. At home, your family's journeys were also different. Some keenly felt the empty nest that you had left behind when you nested at St. Ben's. Others sensed it was time for this experience. Perhaps their pain was less intense. Sisters and brothers had thought you would never leave. Some of them claimed pieces of your furniture, others moved into your bedrooms. And now they were afraid that you might not ever come back. As the nest became more familiar, as your life became more filled with friends and experiences, a subtle but strong shift occurred in the use of the word home. You had left home to come to St. Ben's. You would leave St. Ben's to go home for the weekend. And at some point, you started to leave your homes to come home to St. Ben's. I imagine many parents today can remember the pang of hearing you say for the first time as you departed for St. Joe, "Bye, I'm going home." And where home was has shifted many times over those years, from Warroad to Aurora 3, from St. Paul to Ricarda, from Nassau, Bahamas to Solar Apartments, from Golden Valley to a cottage in Ireland or a hotel in Greece, or perhaps simply from your house in St. Cloud to the HAB or to Clemens Library. There has been a shift in the use of the word home. There has been a shift in the place of home. Change, and yet no change at all. Mendota Heights or Great Falls, Virginia, or Duluth or Palmer, Alaska will always be home, just as St. Ben's will. Home has family. Look around you and see your sisters. Home has comfort and conflict. Remember the squabbles with roommates and the supportive talks with friends. Home has rules. Remember, no parking without the proper permits. Home has tradition. Remember the father-daughter dance, the senior dinner, last time Mass, and tonight, the last waltz. Home is the familiar, and St. Ben's is now familiar. The familiar at St. Ben's has been formed by many things. Many of them Amy cited so well. And now, this journey is ending, and your transition is complete. You will leave to find other homes, and you will join over 11,000 other St. Ben's alumni who have done that. And like them, you will come home occasionally to sense the familiar, to meet old friends, to define yourself once again. So come home to St. Ben's to continue learning, to see if the fish are in the fish pond yet, to renew commitment, to measure change, to seek God. I invite you, the women of 1991, to come home whenever you can.
In closing, this day of celebration, this day in which we all leave here with passion and impassioned because of our time here at St. Ben's together, we pray in blessing. Be blessed, graduating women of St. Benedict's. In the wisdom of your learning, during the past years. In the wisdom of the Benedictine tradition in which you have been formed, in the wisdom of your coming to this day of celebration. Be blessed, women of this world and time, in the coming to birth of a global awareness, in the wisdom of the peoples and nations different from you, in the stretching of your minds and hearts to embrace that which challenges and empowers you. Be blessed, women of God, in the wisdom of knowing you are loved by God, in the wisdom of relying on a strength beyond your own limitations and giftedness, in the wisdom of believing in the mysteries and power of death and resurrection already won for you in Christ Jesus. Be blessed, graduates, families, friends, faculty, staff, administrators, in the unity of God, who is one in three persons and calls us all to be one. Amen.
man. Yeah! Let's play the first thing of first shots. No, we can't play forever. Play the opening of Fairy Queen. First section. Got it?